guys, Hrph here for another episode of PiWorld here at Minecraft Survival. I joined the server, it was nighttime, so I slept in the bed real quick. And the skeletons are burning. There was a couple of them here. Just gonna run over here and see if he drops anything. Don't you dare. Oh, he didn't make it to the water. He was trying. Sorry, sucker. Let's see. We got the one cow. I guess we saw that in the last episode. I haven't looked around to see if there are more. But today we're going to start to at least work on the layout of the house. Doesn't need to be gigantic. It's not going to be, at least I don't think at this point, it's going to be our main house. I do want to build something, you know, decent and usable, but I'm also not the grandest builder of things, so we'll see. I want to get a farm going here as well, so we don't have to kill so many animals. But let's see, just collecting some seeds. So I think what I'm going to do, at least to start with here, is I'm going to lay out some blocks in dirt just to kind of get an outline of how I want to build the house. Then what we'll probably do is start to build down. We're going to start to head down. We'll build a ladder. We'll start to make a mine down towards the bottom. Probably go down to about level 12-ish, which is generally where, yeah, that's kind of the best mining for diamonds down there. They say level 12. So that's the goal. We'll have to figure out, again, I'm trying to do all this without, without hitting the F3 button and looking at your coordinates and your height and all that. So, step one here is wipe out a bunch of grass, see what we can collect for seeds. Step two is going to be, we might have to actually flatten a little bit of this. So if I've got to take down like a layer of dirt here or something, I will, I can either do that off camera or I can make a little quick montage of it, but done a few of the montages recently, you're probably sick of that. So let's see. Kind of don't, I'm just avoiding the flowers. What kind of flowers are these? I don't know if they can be the same color as the swamp flowers or what. So, it's going to take down some of this grass, and I'm probably going to wipe this little dirt mound out. Oops, sorry, pig. What do we got? 28? That's a start. That's a start. Alright. We got a shovel. So if I take this down, then I don't have too much dirt, I don't think. Yeah, I only got 6, so... By wiping this out, it'll give me some dirt to start to outline the foundation. And normally what I do when I start this, you know, is I'll make a foundation out of dirt. And ultimately, obviously, you know, we replace that with stone or stone brick or something. And while it's still dirt, generally I will dig down a handful of blocks and just sort of dig out a safe spot to put a bed, and that way we don't, you know, if we're mining or whatever, if it gets late, we can just run and jump in the hole and we don't have to worry about things coming down and getting us, or the phantoms if we end up not sleeping or something. I can only imagine what the phantoms are going to be like. Oh no. Okay, I've lost my shovel. So I think while doing some of this, I had, my daughters pointed out that I hadn't really told the story in a handful of episodes, so I thought I would jump back into the storytelling. This one's kind of a favorite of theirs. It involves me in whitewater rafting and a group of friends of mine that, geez, I haven't seen any of these guys in probably 25 years. So those that don't know, in fact, I don't think anybody does, because I haven't mentioned it in any of the videos yet, but I used to work at local gas stations, service stations, you know, and I was sort of a, that was also dirt. All right, I'm stupid. So, when I was a young kid, you know, my dad had muscle cars. He had some Chrysler, Dodge Plymouth, actually, muscle cars as a kid. So I grew up a huge fan of, you know, muscle cars in general. And that got me interested in cars, you know, being a 15, 16-year-old kid. I was interested in, you know, working on cars. Didn't have one of my own, but, you know, I always paid attention when my dad was doing, you know, anything in the yard, like with his, you know, with one of his cars. And anyway, so as and I'll tie this into another story related to an ex-girlfriend of mine, whose mom actually got me a job at a local gas station. I had been working for my uncle on the weekends. One of my uncles owned, in fact, well, actually two of them owned gas stations. But one of them I worked at for quite a while. Only on Saturdays, like you know, I was going to college, and probably, I bet I was like 17 when I started there. Anyway, I digress. The story. So these were folks, guys that I became friendly with after working at the local gas station here for a little bit, and well, one of the guys in particular, not he the rest of them were just his friends that, you know, they didn't work at the gas station, but they were pals of his from high school or whatever. So they were all a few years older than me. I'm going to guess I was probably 21 or 22 at the time. And they were probably more like, you know, 25 or 26. So they're a handful of years older than me. Anyway, they decide that they want to go whitewater rafting up in Maine, a lovely state of Maine. So they apparently knew a guy that was like you know, he was a whitewater rafting guide. So they booked something through him, and, you know, I don't know if they got a discount or whatever, but, you know, anyway, so we take this long trek up there, and this is probably about a 3-hour drive for us. And we get up there, and we're, you know, I've never done this before, first time I've ever been whitewater rafting. I spent a lot of time in canoes. You know, I mentioned the summer house, the cottage that we had earlier in one of the other videos, and sorry, I'm just distracted here. So anyway, back to the story. So we are, no, anyway, I spent a lot of time outside, you know, swimming. I was a good swimmer. I wasn't worried about, you know, falling in the river and drowning or anything like that. Athletic young man, strong swimmer. None of that was an issue. So we get, that wasn't what I wanted. So we get up to this, you know, this river in Maine. I don't remember the name of the river at this point. It's been so long. But we get up there, and, you know, we assemble, and, you know, the whole time I'm thinking, hey, this is just us, right? It's just us. It's like, you know, the group of 4 of us guys. It's going to just be us, right? Nope. Well, of course not, right? That's not a whole whitewater rafting trip. It's this whole thing. There's probably, I'm going to guess, you know, in this party, there's probably 40 people. I'm going to guess there's 4 or 5 boats. Probably more like 5 or 6 boats, and I think you could fit at least, you know, 7 folks per boat, plus the you know, the guide that was on the back and steering. So they had all of us sitting around, on the edges of this whitewater rafting boat. It's a good size rubber boat, and we are. I think we got there late, so they ended up. The four of us couldn't go together because the boats had already been laid out with. They sort of. I got the impression that they squeezed the four of us in with a large group of, 30 plus people that all showed up together that were from a friend. They're either friends or the family, or they were, from an organization of some kind. But they were all adults. There weren't really any kids in there. They were all, middle-aged folks. Probably, like I said, I was 20 and 21 at the time. They were probably all my age now, in their 50s. So I get thrown into this boat, kind of by myself, separate from all of my buddies. And the we start going down the raft, and I'm sitting. It was so crowded in this one. I'm going to guess there was 8 or 9 of us in the boat. There was probably 10 people total in the boat, including the guide. So, and I am actually most of them are women. I think there was maybe one gentleman up front, and the rest of them were all kind of middle-aged women, and it was myself and the guide. So I was sitting in the back corner of the boat. The guide was in the middle, and all the other folks were lining the sides, because everybody had a paddle. We were hanging over the edge. Everybody was supposed to, try to steer this thing. Anyway, a long story short, we get paddling down the river, and everything's going fantastic for a while. We hit a few small rapids, and everyone's woo. We had fun, right? It's like going over some bumps in the street in your car. It's not a big deal. And then we start to hit some of the heavier rapids. So, and again, none of these are ridiculous, right? It's just kind of startling, having never done this before. The amount of let's see, I'm going to take out these. I think the amount of bouncing around and stuff that you do, it just makes you a little bit nervous. It's like being in an airplane and there's a lot of turbulence. You kind of go, what the heck's going on? So, am I going to die? Am I going to live? What's happening? So, we end up, we hit a few pretty good sized bumps, and it had knocked a couple of people. It's one of those inflatable rubber boats, right? So they kind of mold to the rocks and to the terrain, and I mean to the the form of the water, right? If the water's going over a rock, it kind of folds. Anyway, so a couple of times, the sides had come up, and a couple of people were kind of bumped off back into the middle of the boat, right? So it would go over either a rock on the left, and this lady would get, the thing would hit her butt or something, or just bounce the boat a little bit, and she would kind of flop into the middle of the boat. So I stopped playing there for a second because I'm talking with my hands, like you can see what I'm doing. So so we continue on, and I'm really dragging this out, and I apologize, but the key is that this we end up hitting this series of rapids, right? So people have fallen off the boat, and we end up going over. The series of rapids were okay. A couple of people had fallen in, inside the boat, just fallen into the middle of the boat, and they'd gotten back up, so now they're sitting back in their perch on the edge, and we end up hitting like a drop off, a small, it's rapids, but it's probably a 3 or 4 foot drop, straight down to the water again. Now there's no danger of getting hit by rocks or anything like that. It's nothing like that serious, but it was a little hairy, right? So we hit this drop, and now of course I mentioned that I'm in the back of the boat on the corner. So of course when we hit that that lip, right? So we fall straight over, and there's nothing on the sides. So everybody that's on the sides of the boat, that's lining the sides, they're fine. They're, they just they go right down. I, on the other hand, being in the back, now the guy who's the instructor, the guide, he's got a I don't remember if there was a fixed sort of rudder on this thing where he could steer it, but anyway, so he knows what he's doing, right? He's been on these boats a million times. Hrph is not. So what happens is, as the boat sort of plunges over this thing, the little drop off, I get shot. I'm sitting on the back edge of the boat. I get shot like forward as the boat is dropping. It just launches me, and I land face down in the middle of this rubber bottom boat. Now, once the boat hits the ground, that's when all the other people, when I say the ground, I mean we hit the next layer of water down there, 3 or 4 feet below. So I've been shot forward, laying face down, and now the sides of the boats are in the rapids, and people are getting bonked off like they had been before. So what happens is, some number of women, I don't know how many women there were, but some number of these, everybody's very nice, but some number of these women get bounced, also into the middle of the boat on top of me. Now there's a tiny bit of water in the boat, but also when all these women, land, on my back and my legs and everything, my face is, under this little, half an inch of water that's now pooled up, because I'm under this pile, like a football scrum, right? I'm at the bottom of the football scrum. And there's too many of them. Like, I can't move. There's nothing solid to push off on. So I mean, it's not like I could even stand. And this went on for, an alarming amount of seconds, I would imagine. And it got a little bit to the point where I was nervous that they weren't going to get up, because I'm like, these are a bunch of older, not old, but older, women with it's not a bunch of Olympic athletes, is what I'm getting at, and they weren't so agile, to get immediately up. So all the time, Hrph is running out of breath underneath this pile. So and Hrph is seeing his life flash before his eyes. Am I going to get out of this? What's happening? So eventually, they do pile off. I think the guide actually got up and helped a couple of the women up, and they were all laughing. They had a great time. Nobody realized that I was we are out of dirt. That's why I couldn't lay any more dirt. So nobody realized that that I was pretty close to running out of breath down there. So I mean, I've got the whole thing went about 30 seconds. It wasn't like it was 2 seconds and I'm overreacting. This thing went quite a while. And I was horrified. I mean, we were probably only 15 minutes into this, into this whitewater rafting trip that probably was going to go for a couple of hours, as I recall. A couple of spots we had to get out of the boat and put the boats on these vehicles that they had staged down there, and then you move the boats, half a mile down, and then you get back in the river. So, I mean, this is a whole, this is probably a 3-hour or so process, as I recall, the entire thing. So, this happens in the first 15 or 20 minutes, and now I want to go home, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not like a huge fraidy cat or anything like that, but my God, it was traumatizing. But the rest of the trip pretty much went, as I recall, without issues. I think in that first, one of my buddies, I think the guy that I work with, he actually saw he was in the boat sort of right behind us, I think. So he saw kind of what happened to me. He was near the front of his boat. So he saw me under there, and I kind of remember, maybe I looked back at him or something. I don't even recall, but he sort of got the impression, that Hrph didn't have too much fun there. So, but what ended up happening was, of course, we're young guys, so we had a bunch of, we had a cooler full of beer with us and all that. So he came up and made sure that I had a beer in hand at that first break to calm my nerves, and I think he's like, maybe you should have a second one. So I think I guzzled 2 or 3 beers right there, which probably set the stage for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, definitely for the rest of the trip, I was okay. And at that point, I was prepared, for the next time. I never did get knocked off again like that, so I was pretty pretty safe the rest of the trip. But anyway, that was the whitewater rafting story. That dragged out a little bit. I don't think that was as funny as I wanted it to be, but it really was a good time. It was a good weekend, and my kids think it's hilarious that I was almost drowned by these crazy ladies. So we've got our little dirt foundation down there. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop there. It just what I want to do is kind of move the bed into I need what do we got for wood here? I need, you know what? Oh, I gotta get to the bed here, and we'll collect some more wood. Hrph is distracted telling stories. So what I'm going to start doing here is I'm going to start making a ladder down so we can begin the process of mining. So we're going to get down there. We can start looking for some diamonds. We got the diamond pickaxe. So as we go, and I got a bucket of water, right? I got a bucket of water. So as we go, we are going to collect this. Is this? Oh, I'm using the shovel, not the. Okay, makes sense. We're going to collect some obsidian, and with the obsidian, we will find a home and make a first foray into the Nether. And we can just jump into the Nether, kind of see what it looks like in there. Sometimes you get lucky and you're right near one of the Nether fortresses, and I can only imagine how ugly that's going to be, though, on hard difficulty. Just the densely populated area of skeletons. It seems to be, you know, the thing I'm having most issue with so far in this game is the mobs that shoot projectiles, right? So we've been killed by countless drowned, you know, with their tridents, and skeletons are a huge problem. They were a huge problem in the mine. Obviously, a problem trying to get started there that one time. So we need to get some enchanting going here. Getting up to level 15. I think what I'll do is drop this guy right here. Do I have? I don't have the oven. I don't need the oven at the moment, but I really just need this guy. So let's see. Let's get a count. How high are we? Usually the water. So from what I understand, the water is at this block right here. So the first block of water is 64. So at 64, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that'll put us at 72. No, we want to get down to 12, so that's 60, right? 72 minus 12 is 60. And I don't need the bottom one, so we need 59 ladders. 59 ladders. So I think, let's start with this many. Now we have 64. I'm going to make this entire thing into sticks, and we will start to split these up. And so we got 16. Oh, I don't need that one. Oh, 16 times 3. I don't know. That's 48 ladders. And what did I say? 59. So we need a few more. Might need all of these. 3. Oh, I said 3, but I was only doing 2 in most of them. Genius. 57. Oh, we're so close. Okay, so I need another. What? I need another couple of these to make some more sticks. Oh, that's way too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. All right, 60. So we got one too many. That's okay. Where are we for daylight? All right, let's I might want to pull this level of dirt down as well. I'm not going to do that right now, but I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to put the bed here for the moment. And look at me setting my spawn. Look at that. Look at that. Not going to die. So well, we're probably going to die. We're just not going to get lost. So let's do some ladders, and we're gonna dig down. So on the ladder, what I do here is, and I'm sure a lot of you play Minecraft, so everybody knows, but what I do here is I hold shift down. And if you hold shift, you stay on the ladder, right? You don't drop. So if I just do it without shift, I drop. You put this on, hold shift, and then it takes a little longer to pop the block, but you can you magically stay on your ladder without falling into lava or mobs or whatever you may uncover as you go down. So I am going to continue this process, and probably what I'm going to do is dig out, maybe down here a little bit. We're just going to dig out maybe a small perch so that we can hang out in there during the evening. I may actually move the bed down there. So my goal is to get down to level 12, and maybe we can poke around unless we find something interesting on the way down. We can poke around, see what we can mine for in the next episode, and maybe we'll start to build a little farm over here and a pen for some sheep and cows. And I guess some pigs too. I guess we might as well breed some pigs. There's pigs here, and I got carrots. So I want to poke around and mine just a little bit, see what's down here, what the landscape looks like down below, and then the next priority is growing some food. So I will probably clear out some of this area over here and set up some of my typical my 9x9 farms, and we'll get going in the next one. All right. Thanks as always for watching. Give us a like if we're doing things that you enjoy, and subscribe if you care to, as that really will help us out. And I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.